Hello everyone, this is Arun. In this video, I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic called actionable pattern mining. Before going to actionable pattern mining, let me talk about classification and classification rules. So, given a dataset, in this case, let's consider a dataset of different shape of objects with different colors and different border weights. So provided that data, we need to come up with a model or an algorithm that successfully classifies each data record or each object into particular shapes with their corresponding color. Classification rules is one of the forms of classification that tells in form of rules on which condition that object will go to one of those classes. So it forms a basic form of if else condition in our programming languages. It checks if an attribute in a particular object is one value. It says that the data is one class, otherwise it considers the data as another class. Similarly, we can check with other attributes like this, and we can finally conclude that that particular data object belong to one class. So let's consider one example of car business data. It contains attributes like trunk size, doors count, maintenance cost, and many attributes like that. And finally, it contains one class attribute to which we need to classify our data records to one of those class attribute values. So classification. Many classification rules can be formed for a particular data set if that data set is good. It basically says that if the doors count is 4 and the maintenance cost is high and the battery life is short and the safety measures are low, the sales is going to be medium. So like this, it forms many rules. These rules form knowledge base to a company that what are all the reasons for the sales is medium or what are all the reasons for the sales is high. So what if the company wants to know that if they need to increase their sales from medium to high, what are all the actions they need to take? So that's where the actionable pattern mining comes in. So given our data, we need to build a model or an algorithm that reads the data, parse it, cleans, and finally produce knowledge in form of actionable patterns. A user or a company can use such actionable patterns for their own advantage, whether to increase a profit or to decrease a loss. They can use such actionable patterns to do their own advantages. Action rules are one of the efficient form to represent actionable patterns. It says to the user that what are the actions they need to undertake to achieve the desired action goal. So let's go back to the car business data. We said that the company wants to improve their sales from medium to high. So what are the actions they need to take? So with action rules, the attributes in the data has to be split into three parts. One is stable attributes. That means that values in that stable attribute cannot form an action. But the company thinks that they can change the trunk size, maintenance cost, and the battery life and safety. But they think that the doors remains constant for all cars. So the other attributes form as flexible attributes. That means that the values in those attributes can form an action. And finally, instead of class attribute in the action rules, it forms as a decision attribute. So this is one example of action rule that I made for this demo. It tells that since the doors count is stable attribute, we say that if the rows count is 4 and from the flexible attributes we can generate all these actions. So if the maintenance cost is decreased from high to medium, and if the battery life is increased from short to long, and if the safety measures are increased, the sales is going to improve. So the company can use Similarly, the algorithm generates a lot of action rules. The company can accumulate all such action rules to come up with an idea of uh, how to improve their sales. So like this, there can be a lot of applications for action rules in social networks. If we want to know how to increase friends count for a particular user, action rules would help a lot. And similarly, as we talked in business area, how to increase the profit, and in the medical area, if we want to know how to decrease what are all the actions would decrease tumor severity for a particular patient, the action rule would help a lot for such cases. And there can be many applications like that in the education field, in the finance field, or even in the recommendations. Action rules play a good role in those applications. And that's it for this video. Thank you.